To learn a skill on your own and build yourself with it sounds like a very hard thing to do. But nowadays, with every educational material easily accessible to us, that's not a hard hill to climb anymore, especially when it comes to building your wealth. Gone are the days where we just have to stick to the 9 to 5 hustle. You just have to persevere and be clear on your goals. Welcome to Luxio. Today we'll teach you how to reach your goals quicker when it comes to building your wealth. But before we dive in, click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you won't miss out on more of our awesome videos. Almost every school on Earth is organized according to the Prussian system. It was created about 200 years ago to prepare young children to be obedient warriors. Following the defeat of the Prussian military in a war with France in the early 1800s, they saw the need for a more loyal and patriotic population. They established a mandatory school for all children where they learned how to read, write, and sing about God, among other things. The overarching goal was to develop a sense of responsibility and obedience to a higher power. It worked out well for Prussia, now known as Germany, in its rise to prominence. The success of Prussia quickly spread France, England, and eventually the United States. People are meant to be trained to be submissive conformists through education. While not all the goals were problematic, the consequence of this system was clear. Young people were willing to follow orders. They were made for the Industrial Revolution, which demanded that they sit motionlessly and perform monotonous duties. The school precisely imitated factories. From the time you arrive at your assigned station until the bell rings, the US adopted the Prussian system in 1840, and in 1892, a group of 10 people defined what and when every American child should learn. Nothing has changed since Arne Duncan, the 9th United States Secretary of Education. He stated that the industrial model of education is a wrong paradigm since it was designed to be sluggish. It's organized on the lowest common denominator to ensure that no one gets left behind. Other advantages include staying in school longer than necessary. This means more student debt, which takes us to where we are now. Let me introduce to you Derek Sivers. Derek Sivers is a musician, producer, circus performer, entrepreneur, TED speaker, and book publisher who many of you may not be familiar with. He handed up all of the money from his first company, which he sold for $22 million. But the tale about how he learned 2 years' worth of Berklee College of Music education in 8 hours is why we're discussing him. He completed his education in 2 years rather than 4. Quite unbelievable, right? That's because he did not follow the usual educational model. So here's how it started. He had 8 weeks until the start of college. He came across an advertisement in the newspaper for a music teacher who was offering lessons. He contacted him and discovered he was a former Berklee professor. This professor taught Derek what he needed to know about the course of 4 2-hour sessions. He taught me the entire semester of harmony arrangement in one intensive lesson. Then I discovered that I could purchase a book for a course in which I was not enrolled and complete all of the examples without having to attend the class. Then I could approach the department chair and gain full credit for taking the final exam. Derek essentially conducted a series of micro-learning sessions with the purpose of completing college 2 times faster with the risk of failing the tests. This takes us to the topic of today's post, micro-learning. The current pace, in Derek's mentor's words, is for schmucks. Everyone learns in a different way. The key point here is that education is very personalized. To be effective, it must be tailored to the individual, which is the polar opposite of how things are now done. The creator of the Khan Academy, Salman Khan, discusses how this technique works best. Traditionally, you enter the classroom and are given a lesson by the teacher. Then you go home and memorize it exactly as they instructed you, and then you return to class to have someone test your knowledge. You have no influence over what is taught to you or when it is taught to you. Khan proposed a flipped model in which students get the lesson in a digital version at home and then apply it in the classroom through interactive exercises. Furthermore, because a lesson is digital, you have international access to the best professors and mentors, and you are not limited to whoever the school hires or can afford to hire. So, what is microlearning exactly? And how will it improve your life? There isn't a precise definition. Microlearning is a type of education that consists of a bite-sized knowledge that is delivered at your leisure, with a specific end goal in mind. From a scientific standpoint, microlearning is also supported. People forget around 80% of what they learn in a month, according to statistics. This is known as the forgetting curve, and it explains why cramming a lot of material into one sitting doesn't help you much. That is why microlearning occurs on a regular basis. Furthermore, scientific research has repeatedly demonstrated that the brain cannot focus on more than one item at a time. Your brain cannot deal with multiple tasks at the same time without losing focus. This is why microlearning is reduced to a single concentrated item at a time. But ultimately, the best way to describe microlearning is to offer you a concrete example. So here it is. Regardless matter where you are in life, there is at least one skill that, if acquired, will have a significant and immediate influence on you. If you're a writer, consider writing more interesting articles. If you are an editor, you could improve your visual storytelling. If you work in advertising, this could mean developing commercials that convert better. Take a moment and reassess where you are in life and where you want to be if you can't find that one ability that has an immediate impact. The next section is about curated knowledge. This serves two objectives. 1. To get rid of all the noise. We live in an age of information overload. There is simply too much information about everything, and it's becoming increasingly difficult to obtain useful and reliable data. Even formerly useful information has become obsolete. Consider Benjamin Graham's well-recognized book, The Intelligent Investor. It is often regarded as the Bible of value investing that was published in 1949. If they repeated all they claimed in that book in today's market, the consequences would be drastically different. There are still gold nuggets in there, but you can't rely on it for all of your information. You must seek your own version of Derek's music teacher. Look for folks with a credible and significant track record to shorten your time here. For instance, in the realm of 3D animation, there is a well-known donut tutorial on YouTube. It shows you how to make a 3D donut from scratch while also covering the 20% of animation skills that you'll need for the other 80% of your job. The second goal is to assist you in breaking down the skill into manageable bits. Let's return to the example of writing. A fantastic start, an intriguing hook, a story-driven narrative, and the payout at the conclusion are examples of this. We have discovered that newsletters are an excellent source of information. We subscribe to a variety of newsletters, the bulk of which are paid on an annual basis. They deliver weekly reports on what's going on in markets we care about, written by people who are completely entrenched in their chosen industry. Another example source of selected knowledge is podcasts. Choose a time range once you've determined your expertise and curated information source. A medium time frame refers to where you will fit learning into your day. According to recent statistics, people set aside 1% of their week for personal growth. That is approximately 4 minutes. Is it sufficient? That is, if the content is designed in that manner. Stakes and objectives. Your objective should be apparent by now, but first, let's talk about the stakes. Consider it this way. You are more likely to wake up at 5 a.m. If you need to catch a flight, lose aversion is a term for this. As humans, we suffer losses in an uneven manner, more severely than equal gains. For example, if someone robs you of $1,000, you'll be far more enraged than you will be satisfied. The stakes don't have to be negative if someone gives you $1,000. However, It is worth mentioning that they function efficiently in this manner. After all, your brain already has a negativity bias, so why not take use of it? Stakes are extremely potent motivators that force you to act. You wouldn't do it otherwise. Thus, make good use of them. With everything fairly accessible to us nowadays, what are you eager to learn about to get to your goals and build your wealth? Share your thoughts in the comments below. As always, we thank you for supporting us. If you haven't yet, make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring and valuable content like this. We'll see you in the next video.